Good morning, lads. Good to see you today. This is a first impressions and review of the new map, as well as at the end of this, I'll be going over all the new weapons that came out. I do like them, some I do not like at all, but others I enjoy quite thoroughly. We are going in with this mission with Tech Sugar Mama Hadron, and I can't lie, I do love our Tech Sugar Mama. Sometimes she does us good, sometimes she does us dirty, but she always does us, so that's for something. The music throughout this mission is on fire. For those of you who like a good beat while you're playing, you're gonna get some. It's more of Knight Rider playing through, and they play it through at some good points. However, I have noticed through this mission, there were more quiet points through the entirety of the mission. I was bummed out where there were no drinkable spirits at the first bar you walk into, but that's alright, I suppose they don't want us drinking on the job. How does this mission stack up against the rest? With this mission, you are looking at 25 to 30 minutes worth of playtime. This entire run was done in 28, and to be fair, the team and I was actively exploring the map and having some good fun. The mob packs felt great this mission, and it was the first time I felt that they pulled the combat director back a little bit. I'm not sure, I haven't done a full deep dive into the patch notes, but it felt good. Now, this could also have to do with the size of the map and how there were a lot of open sight lines, as well as a lot of open pathways to get through. I truly felt like the map was actually worth playing and was indeed a good time. All in all, the map design is solid, and the placement of enemies and the entire route that we went on was nice. I did feel like plasteel and diamantine drops were a little few and far between. We only, by the end of this run, pulled 285 plasteel. It felt like we didn't find all the pieces due to the map's size, or there just wasn't enough on the field. This is a heresy run. I'm used to running out with about 380 to 405 in terms of plasteel. Things may have changed, and if that's the case, it is definitely not a change for the better. I have started to notice too, lads, as well in fights, that some of you seem to be avoiding much of the enemies that you think you knock down. But I do feel like there is some forgetfulness going on with lads these days and not clearing the lads you knock down. Just because you knock them down doesn't mean they're dead. This can screw your team over if you're not working as a team. So do try to keep that in mind. All in all, I will say gunner thickness was there, rager thickness was there. Shotgunners felt a little scarce, which is something I know someone's saying, don't say anything, just let them be scarce. But it was a noticeable lack of shotgunners. How about the mission objectives as a whole? The mission objectives were actually pretty fun. We had an investigation, we had a scan with the cogitator, and we had a destruction, and then we had a cogitator scan and a destruction as well, making it feel very full, very engaging, and I was very happy. Fatshark, for once, you've done something very good with a map that involves investigation. You've not given us 15 different points of investigation objectives we have to do. I can tell you I absolutely avoid Hab Draco like the plague when it comes to doing missions, because I don't like having to do investigations more than once. So having to do it once was nice. I was worried when it came up as a sub-objective to do that we should be doing that, and it felt worrisome. I was very happy it didn't occur, but it was perfect to not have to do it again. Every single thing that has been coming up has been fantastic so far. Next, let's talk Stimms. There is something that a player and I discovered when it came to being about Stimms, is that we forgot to use them. Literally, both of us left because I've remembered in the last moment of this mission to use my Stim. There was never a point in this run where I felt I desperately needed the health, but it was nice to have. It's a little habit to get used to again, much like in Darktide 2, having the potions that healed you, fast recharging your ability, increasing movement speed, or increasing overall damage. It's going to have to be something that we get used to as players, and is going to need to be retrained into us. Especially for those of us who've been playing Darktide and only Darktide for the last year. However, it was nice to have a little health stim, because it did come in handy at the end of the mission, so I won't lie about that. One disappointing feature that did come through this entire mission, however, was no Chaos Spawn, no Dog, and no Plague Ogrin spawned. I'm not sure if this is because the combat director is focusing on having us battle out with the Karnak twins. If that's the case, I would prefer to also be battling the monstrosities that we've gotten used to and still fight the Karnak twins. I personally feel the Karnak twin battle was rather disappointing. And talking with a mate of mine who screen shared with me, the ranged Karnak fight is also disappointing and far easier than the sword melee fight Karnak twin. It feels like it is either A, on a timer of 30 seconds to a minute that you get to fight one of the Karnak twins, or it's based on how much health you take away from them. I don't mind that they're on a timer to kill, and if you don't kill them within that timer, they cark right off and head out. It doesn't feel like, it doesn't have the agency that I spoke about in the last video that I did. And that is one of the biggest problems, is when you take away the player's agency to actually engage and fight with these enemies. Don't have them just run away because it's one-on-one. You should have given us both, in have one run away and have the other commit. It really is worrying that neither fight seems to have any real oomph to it, and it did kind of let me down. So there's that to keep in mind. I felt let down and I felt unengaged, realizing that after either it was a set amount of time or perhaps a demon host style fight where once they score a kill, they bamf out and say goodbye. That works with the demon host. They're now going to feast on your ally's soul. That I can get behind. That one I'm okay. Because also a demon host fight, you want them to hurry up and kill someone so they go away. That is kind of a breath of fresh air with a demon host. I know that sounds terrible, but it's kind of true. With the Karnak twin, the fight was not difficult, but if you get separated from your ally, then it becomes difficult. There is a point in the fight that I got separated from my group. Luckily, I had my shout and I was able to regroup. But the Karnak twin did end up taking out one of my allies. All in all, was the fight fun. It was tense. It was very tense to fight the swordsman Karnak twin. But not being able to kill them, whether it's due to them killing an ally or to them being on a timer or to them having a set health pool that if it drops below a level they bamf out, that was disappointing. The smoke that they leave behind, however, does take forever to disappear and does deal corruption and damage per second. Where I will say the melee Karnak twin does seem like it will indeed end a run if they get a good series of strikes on you and you're not paying attention because the horde is on top of you. And the way that they put the fight in the horde is successful. The other issue that we ran into that fight is our Psyker was not using any of their lightning. Why is that? On the floor above us was a demon host that they were trying not to wake up, with a lightning arc going stray and going through the wall. I give them mass amounts of credit in this. That was one of the smartest moves, to not only be aware of the field, but be aware that the demon host is still there. It hasn't disappeared. So using their combat awareness, they did prevent us from dealing more damage to the Karnak twin or potentially locking them down for a moment, but they were aware of the field and kept us from getting ruffle stomped by two dangerous enemies. So, player awareness will win out over us scoring the kill. I will take it. The other issue is one of our players was level 25. We did end up with a bot because they left, and the other player was running a brand new Eviscerator without having it fully upgraded. It was green when they came in, so that is going to drop a lot of their weapon capabilities throughout the run. Combat Stim as well, a quick note, does affect Psyker Blitz damage. So, Psykers using that as a bit of information, it will make Damnation Crushers die to 2 head pops without enemies damaging them. Use that effectively, if you can, if you're running Brain Burst. And of course it will affect Shards and Smite as well. All in all, I will say I think the mission is brilliant. I think the Karnak fight twin is okay. It's nothing special because they disappear. If you get a Karnak kill, let me know in the comments down below. I'm going to keep playing. I'm going to keep trying to get a Karnak kill. I'm going to see if it does anything, or if they always disappear. Let's create a dialogue about this so we know what's going on. If we're not able to kill them and they always disappear, that is the most disappointing and cringe thing Fatshark could ever do, is to create an enemy, put them on our face, and then make sure they never get away regardless of bringing their health to 0. Let's cover the weapons. I do like the new weapons. First up is the new Revolver. This one is the old one. There is a skin difference between the two. We lose the wrapping around the muzzle, and the muzzle seems to get an extension. I love this gun. And this is going to be a weapon due to the speed loader and the fanning the hammer, where getting a blessing like Crucian Roulette is going to make it stand out. And I've already started improving this one. This is just base grey. I already have Crucian Roulette on it, and it is Karking amazing. As we do some damnation testing, on a Mauler it will take 1 full cylinder to bring down with Fan the Hammer, and on a Crusher it will take 2.5 to bring a Crusher down as a grey weapon with Fan the Hammer. Of course, any blessings and modifications you put on will increase its performance. Next to one of the new shovels, as you can see, you fold the shovel down, you use the pick on the back to deal a substantial blow to your enemies, and then the shovel folds up, launching it back into place after stabbing them in the face with it. Has some good swipe swings, I do like very much. However, I am not a shovel user, but I may play around with it. I do like the ice pick shovel to the head. It's a good bit of fun. Now, for those of you who like worshipping corn, well, you're wrong. And they did make some nice new additions to the chain axe. There is now animation cancelling with the lock on the light hit. So if you go into a block, you will cancel out the animation. It is faster now, and it feels pretty good on the first chain axe that they gave us. And the heavies feel good, and in general, the rev just looks nice. The second chain axe, however, is bloody Karking beautiful. I love the design, I love the leather wrapped handle. It looks so much more unique from the Mark IV that they gave us. There is such a difference between the two, and I love it. However, there is one issue, and this is an issue across all cosmetics for each weapon. And that is the fact that the skins will change from their new design to the old design, taking away from the standard appearance that they could have just recolored and done. However, I cannot wait to put this weapon into my rotation and use it in battles. This one hits more like an average axe. It doesn't bite into the enemy except with the heavy attack, and then the rev attacks feel so good to use against the enemies. So, light attacks, it will hit like a normal axe. Heavy attacks, it will bite in. Revved light attacks, it will bite in, and heavy revved attacks will bite in. I love it. This is a great version of the Chain Axe. Get you some. Now we move on to the las pistol, the heavy las pistol to be precise. This one shoots fast, and because it's fully upgraded, it sets carcass on fire. This is a heavy las pistol. Slower rate of fire, more damage. And much like all the others, it is a grey weapon, but it still does good work. I will say, it's satisfying. It's a las pistol. Moving on to shovel number 2, longer pick. Maybe more damage? Well, it definitely hurts pretty well. And with its attacks, it does feel good. Lights are pretty quick and easy to the side. Heavies, side and then straight down. It does feel good to use. But again, I'm not a shovel type of person. It does have a sweep slap after the block and shove. Here's a little lady that many of you enjoy. The Karnak Combat Blade. This is the second one we get. This one looks good. It's got some good oomph to it. Big side swipes for your light attacks. The heavies feel good. Your first heavy is a good swipe. The punch, by the way, apparently is doing 500 points more damage than it used to do. So 500% more damage than it used to do. This is a good horde sweeper now. Still light, quick damage. And that is still going to be one of the best bleed weapons we get. One thing I was told by my mate is that blessings you've unlocked on other marks do not work on these marks. I'm not 100% sure if this is on all of them or maybe it's a bug. Let me know in the comments. Check yourselves. I'm currently working on the Revolver. Give me a break. All in all, the new combat blade looks nice, it feels nice, and it seems to work good in the hands. It's not going to be something I use, but for those of you who like your combat knife builds, this one will see you sweeping through the hordes pretty well. Now we move on to the Mugsy favourite, the chainsword. The light attack combo is the same, it feels like, from the initial Cadian chainsword. Now we get 2 big downward swings and a 3rd heavy swing for the combo coming across. I enjoy this very, very much. I like this chainsword. It's nice. It feels good. But it is still a chainsword. Compared to its older sister, we have a weapon that I've been using for quite some time. Its buffs and its hits are in there. I'm used to these overhead swing downs for its light attacks. And it's the same with the other one. But I am much more used to these big sweeping strikes that I have with the heavy attack. I don't know if I'll be swapping over, but I will get the other one up to a beautiful gold, and we'll see how she does. All in all, I like the chainswords. We're going to take a look at the zealots next. Once again, I am very jealous of the zealots having a nice 2-handed chainsword of which to bring the Emperor's justice. This is a horde clearing sweeper, far better than the original chainsword, which is a one-on-one combat weapon. with the big cleaving sweeps that comes with this heavy eviscerator, I think we're going to be pushing through hoods like we wouldn't believe. Its downward heavies bite into the enemy and do substantial damage, of which I am happy. The light attack swing bites in, does substantial damage, and the heavy brings them down with ease, and I am happy to oblige with it. The block is a stab this time, and I like that it is a blocking, thrusting stab. And the damage seems to be the same regardless of a rev or no rev. Now we're on to the mean green older sister. A 4-hit series with a third strike being a sweep to deal with enemies around you. But all in all, a good, solid, one-on-one melee combating weapon, with its heavy swings being big sweeps that deal with hordes quite well, not as well as the light sweeps of the new Eviscerator. However, again, this one's my gold baby, and she stands out more than the new one. I do have to level that one up. All in all, both Eviscerators, I feel, are good choices to fit different playstyles of your preferred combat style. This is one I do feel bad on, as I am not an Ogryn player. I have my Ogryn, not fully maxed out, but I have to say I'm really disappointed that the shovels for the Ogryn are pretty basic. The downward heavy swing is nice, it hits hard, it does what it's supposed to do, pulp heads. But the Ogryn shovels feel like nothing special compared to the same thing that the veteran got. I would have preferred a new weapon altogether for the Ogryn, like a two-handed rock hammer. That would have been wholly unique to the Ogryn and still been well within their lore. It is disappointing that the Ogryn has nothing that really brings me wanting to come to the table. I just want to keep playing my little humies. However, we do have a target. All in all, lads, I will have to say I like the update. I like the things that have been added. Do I want more? Yes. Are there penances? No. The weapon marks are nice to have some new tools to play around with. I, again, would have liked more. It feels very, here's what you get, wait another 10 months to a year before you get anything new after that. And if that's the case where we have to wait another 10 months or so to get new weapon marks, it's going to be even more of a strain on the community. You're going to find people like to play with what they like to play with. Everyone's going to change, there's going to be new balancing, there's going to be new issues popping up. However, if they can come out with a map every month, that would be fantastic. If a map every month is too much, a map every 2 months. That gives you 5 maps in a year to play on. That might be too much still. Then do it 1 map a quarter. That's 4 maps a year. Still a good deal. I'm happy with it. I'm excited to keep playing it. And I'm excited to see what new builds we get. And before I forget, the veteran talent tree. I'm using this build. I like this build. I refuse to touch a keystone because I don't think they're useful. Someone might rage at me. Someone might tell me I'm wrong. Someone might tell me my build is crap. But what I can tell you is I am doing just fine on Damnation, and I am doing just dandy with my builds, using no keystones as a veteran and getting all the buffs that I can. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it. Will there be a day where I don't get all the buffs? Absolutely. It won't affect me much. I know what I'm doing in the game, therefore I could pretty much build any way I want and still have a good time. That's what you should aim for, to learn how to play the game, so whatever you build with, you're still having a good Karking time. I hope you lads enjoy yourselves, and I hope you have your own good insights that you want to share. Shout out to the patrons. Thank you so much for supporting the channel on Patreon. You too can support on Patreon by heading down in the description below, or you can support by becoming a channel member. Or you can support for free by hitting like, subscribe, the bell notification, and commenting. Love to have you join us and let us know what your thoughts are in a civil discussion. No rage baiting, no getting your knickers in a twist. I don't want to see it, no one else wants to see it. Just be polite. Karking's sake. Have a good one, lads. See you in the next video. Peace.